Hi gamers! I'm really excited about this collection update video here. I got about 30 games here to go through, and only 2 of those are for current generation machines, so lots and lots of retro here. And I also got 2 new consoles. Well, not new, they're used, but new to me. So let's dive straight in here. Well, first up, the consoles. I got a Virtual Boy. See if I can fit this here and no, I actually owned a Virtual Boy before, but that one, there was something wrong with it, so I decided to get a new one, and my previous one was only a loose copy, a loose machine, so I knew I wanted to get the machine in its box and with the manual, so here it is, complete in box, a new Virtual Boy. I also got a new Nintendo 64. Now that I finished my game collection, I've been slowly going into console collecting as well, and this is my second fantastic see-through color console. There are 6 in total, so this is number 2 of 6, and yeah, watermelon red. I think the coolest color of the 6. So, good stuff. And then let's go through, let's take the newer games here. First I found Metroid Other M for 10 euros, so I knew I had to snap this one up. Still sealed, of course. I have the game already, played through it. I really like the game, even though not everyone does. And yeah, you have to ask yourself, yeah, of course I get asked many times, why do you get a sealed game if you already have it? It's for collecting purposes, and I don't think 10 euros is a bad deal, but you have to ask yourself, you know, if you think about any Metroid game, in the, you know, that's older than 5 years or 10 years, something like that, if you find one sealed, how much is that gonna be worth? And even though these are quite plentiful now, like any Mario game, Zelda game, you know, they sell millions and millions of copies, a sealed one will still sell for lots of money in 5 or 10 years, let alone 15 or 20. So you just have to snap them up now that they are cheap. So I got Metroid Other M for sure. Also for the Wii, a title that I shamefully missed when it was released, Punch-Out. Yeah, nice retro stuff. Yeah, it was long gone, like was Kid Icarus before Uprising, so this was a nice little game on the Wii. Then slightly older, even though this, I guess not everyone counts these as retro, but still, let's go through these. For the GameCube, a few games got really cheap: Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, Batman Vengeance, and Die Hard Vendetta. About a couple of euros a piece, so good deal on those. I also got a Wavebird, and this now I have 3 Wavebirds and 1 cordless a controller with a cord, the white one that was released after the Wii came out. So yeah, gotta have at least one with a cord, and 3 Wavebirds here for some multiplayer action. Then for the old Xbox, again really cheap stuff, only about 2 euros a piece: Prince of Persia, Warrior Within, and The Two Thrones, Enter the Matrix, Atari Anthology, Hitman Contracts, and Alien Hominid. So yeah, people still lug these over to GameStop and I get them there for cheap. Works for me. But then to the good stuff. Yeah, I kind of noticed that I have some pretty obvious holes in my collection that I needed to remedy ASAP. And one of them is for the Sega Saturn, Guardian Heroes. A gorgeous scrolling beat 'em up. I really don't know why I got this at this late hour, but I guess it's never too late to get a good game. Great stuff. Then for the NES, I got a really nice conditioned Mega Man 6. And yeah, after this I'm only missing Mega Man 5. Then I have every Mega Man and Mega Man X games. There have been no spin-offs, of course. I don't really like those, but of the main series. And yeah, this was never released here in Europe. This was actually my first time that I played this, so it was a real treat for me. And yeah, only number 5 missing, and then another obvious hole, of course, but I'll try to remedy that as soon as possible. Then I got Probotector, also known as Contra in the US. I did own Probotector. Naturally, I played this to death as a kid, and I did own this a few years back, but that was missing a manual, and I sold that knowing that I would get a complete in-box copy sooner or later, and yeah, 2 or 3 years went past and I got this only now. But absolutely one of the best games on the NES for sure for me. This is, it really hasn't aged a day. The gameplay is absolutely fantastic. The music is still one of the catchiest there is on video games, full stop, for me. So yeah, about high time to add this to my collection again. And then, continuing on the NES, I got Tailspin, another great Disney game from Capcom. Some shoot 'em up esque gameplay here, and yeah, great music and graphics as can be expected from Capcom. And finally on the NES I got the Flintstones, The Rescue of Dino and Hoppy. And I'm not sure if many people know this, but this is actually one of the better non-Nintendo platformers on the NES. It's really an enjoyable platformer. Great graphics. What have we got next? Okay, something for the Vectrex. I really dig Vectrex games. Here we have Armor Attack. And actually my favorite Vectrex game, Fortress of Narzad, which that's a great title. More games should be named like this. Try to say it, Fortress of Narzad. Sounds that's really 80s. I love it. And yeah, I remember this from my childhood. I never had a Vectrex as a kid, but a friend of mine had, and boy, those were really rare machines back in the day. But luckily I was able to play some games, and this was one of them, and yeah, probably the best game on the Vectrex for me. But then something that every so often I get enticed by a console and gaming system, and I just have to get a few games for it. I look at videos on YouTube and read about the games on Wikipedia and the machine, and I just can't help myself. I gotta get some games for it. And now I got bitten by a Game Boy bug, and by Game Boy I of course mean the black and white first Game Boy. And I got a bunch of games for it. Let's see here. Wario Land 2. I guess I could add this to the list of really essential games that I missed. Also gotta get Wario Land 3 for the Game Boy Color and Wario Land 4 for Game Boy Advance, but got 1 and 2 now. T2, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I'm not sure if I'm just biased because I played this a lot as a child, but to me this is one of the better Game Boy games. There's really lots of variety. You know, there's shooting, riding a motorcycle, and some hacking, and yeah, lots of gameplay modes. Great stuff. Then I got Wave Race. Of course, the sequel came out on the Nintendo 64, Wave Race 64. And again, one of those games that my collection was really just begging to be added to it. Metroid 2, The Return of Samus. Yeah, now I have every Metroid game as well. About high time. Fantastic game. I haven't played this. I have now, but I didn't play this back in the day, and I was really anxious to play it. And I guess I'll be talking more about this in my next recent gaming video. So have some things to say about this, but of course it's a quality game, and especially when you take into account the limitations of the black and white Game Boy as a platform. So it's a really nice game. Most likely one of the best on the system for sure. Also got F1 Race. I'm not a fan of racing games, but I got this because it's a boxed set with the 4-player adapter. And I gotta show this. It's always so nice to open a game box like this, because this is brand new. Everything is in its baggies, and gotta open this one up. And all the manuals are so crisp. There is little to none wear there. Everything's just shiny. Everything is in their bags. Something like this just gets my collecting juices flowing. Then something. Well, this is nice little. Yeah, it's retro on a retro console. So even when the Game Boy was new, this was retro back then. Game Boy Gallery, 5 games in one, and this is a compilation of old Game & Watch games on the black and white Game Boy. And also I got here Game & Watch Gallery 2 for the Game Boy Color, more of the same. And there's quite a bit of these Game & Watch galleries released even before the DS collector's items came out for Club Nintendo. And these are really nice blasts to the past. Especially here you can choose between the original graphics that were used in the Game & Watch games or an updated modern versions of them with Mario added as the character most of the times in the games. These are fun little collectibles. Also got Ice Climber for the Game Boy Advance. And finally here again some pretty major games that I was missing before this. I got Donkey Kong Land, Donkey Kong Land 2 and Donkey Kong Land 3. I was really surprised at how, because this was the first time that I actually played these, at how great technical marvels these are. You know, these are actually playable and they look pretty damn good on the Game Boy. Of course there are no match for Donkey Kong Country games, which these are modeled after, even though these do have mostly original levels. But for a black and white Game Boy, these look really good. and of course all are Super Game Boy enhanced, so look better when played through your Super Nintendo's Game Boy adapter. And I guess that's about it for the games. Yeah, really nice stuff. I've been in seventh heaven here, playing all these games that I either didn't have a chance to play as a kid or did play, but it has been a long time since I played them the last time. So I gotta show these. In my last video I showed how I bought these protectors for my Super Nintendo and NES games, but now that I'm really into Game Boy at the moment, I got these protectors for Game Boy games as well. Yeah, all my Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color games are now protected. And just a quick reminder of how these work. You just fold these here and slide the game in here, and that is nice and protected, and really they stack up nicely on the shelf as well. And well, not only that, yeah, this is nice and protected here, but also as you can see, my Donkey Kong Land 1 game it's really in poor condition. I really didn't buy it in this condition because yeah, it was shipped to me in just a bubble envelope, and of course it was squashed. And yeah, but these protectors also work quite nicely with games like this. It's not just to protect mint games to keep their value, but they also do wonders for games that are already in bad condition. You just tuck all these in and close the flap here, and now everything is nicely here in a square box. This will look nice on the shelf, stack nicely on the shelf, and at least there won't be any additional damage to the box and its contents. So these are really useful. A lot of people asked me on my last video, and where did I get these? Well, these are widely available on eBay. There are a few sellers that apparently manufacture these. I got mine from RetroGameFreak.com, which is a Dutch website that sells games and also these. So I was really happy at that. I'll put the link in the description if you want to check out their wares. And that is it for this quite long but a nice collection update. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.